Long before women had the right to vote nationwide, one woman shattered expectations and made history by walking into the halls of Congress, not as a visitor or advocate, but as an elected representative. Her name was Jeannette Rankin, and in 1916, she became the first woman ever elected to the United States Congress. Her groundbreaking achievement didn't just open doors for future generations of women in politics. It redefined the very idea of who could lead a nation. Born in 1880 near Missoula, Montana, Rankin was the eldest of 7 children. She was a suffragist, a social worker, and a woman of unshakable principle. She believed in equality, not as an abstract ideal, but as a demand for justice in action. When she ran for Congress, women could vote in her home state of Montana, but not yet across the rest of the U.S. That meant she campaigned and won in a political landscape still dominated entirely by men. Jeannette Rankin entered Congress in 1917, just days before President Woodrow Wilson asked lawmakers to vote on entering World War I. In her very first vote as a congresswoman, Rankin made headlines by voting against the war. It was a brave and controversial move, one that sparked both admiration and outrage. She famously said, "I want to stand by my country, but I cannot vote for war." That vote defined her as a pacifist, a title she embraced for the rest of her life. Despite criticism, Rankin didn't back down. She continued to champion causes others ignored. She fought for women's rights, child labor laws, and civil liberties. Her voice in Congress was not just historical. It was moral, persistent, and often ahead of its time. Her presence alone challenged the deeply entrenched notion that politics was a man's world. Rankin left office after 1 term, but returned in 1940, just in time for another pivotal moment in U.S. history. In 1941, following the attack on Pearl Harbor, she cast the only vote in Congress against entering World War II. It was a deeply unpopular stance, and she faced intense backlash. Yet again, she stood by her principles, saying, "As a woman, I can't go to war, and I refuse to send anyone else." Her commitment to peace was unwavering, even in the face of overwhelming opposition. Jeannette Rankin's courage inspired generations of women to run for office. Not just to win, but to lead with conscience. Her legacy echoes through the halls of Congress today, in every woman who casts a vote, introduces legislation, or stands firm in her beliefs. In a time when women couldn't even vote nationally, Rankin proved that representation mattered. She showed the world that courage, integrity, and vision aren't bound by gender. Her life reminds us that the first to do something great often faces the fiercest resistance, and that trailblazers walk a harder path, not just for themselves, but for all who follow. Her statue stands today in the U.S. Capitol, not as a token of inclusion, but as a symbol of transformation. Jeannette Rankin wasn't just the first woman elected to Congress. She was movement in motion.